Good morning, everyone, on this terrific Tuesday morning. You hear our theme music for the week, so you know what time it is. It's time for us to get back to work. And of course, you've landed in the right place at the right time. It's time for Morning Mocha once again. Rosemary Hardy, you were the first one in. Marquita Porter, Letitia White, Rochelle Parker, Bree Jones, Matthew Payne, Christy Whitaker, Lavulia Howlett, Maisha Bledsoe, Patrina Jones, Pastor Tyrone Bledsoe, Jennifer Lee, Dorothy Shelby, Joyce Lee, Jackie Burns, Joyce Dunn, Marshawn Rowland, Kendra Wright, Lenny Eddington Passmore, James J.C. Cobbins, Bridget McArthur, Tara Kazam, Donna Stevenson, Yolanda Goodwin, Tiana Rogers, Christine Gordon, Rose Bell, good morning, Deborah Dangerfield, good morning to you. While we're waiting for others to get logged on, why don't you take the time to text someone and remind them that Morning Mocha is viewing and streaming live at this very moment. Shaquita Cobbins, good morning to you.
So I gotta stay right. Here we go. Come on. If you're working on the building, make some noise. Come on. Everybody, come on, make some noise. Here we go. How many of you working on the building? Come on. Get up. Come on, get up. If you're working on the building, come on. If you're working on the building, make some noise. I said, make some noise. Make some noise. If you're working on the building, make some noise.
Those of you that may be joining us for the very first time, no need to be shy. Jump right in and join in on the chat, on the discussion this morning. We just ask those of you that place comments in the chat that you be respectful of others who are making comments, and certainly we ask that you respect your host.
Everybody say work. Come on, everybody say work.
Tisha Hillman,
Come on, I can't hear you.
Tish H,
Everybody say
Darlene
work.
O'Neill, good morning.
Come on, say work. Listen. Come on, go with me. Listen, if you're working up the building, make some noise. I said, make some noise. Make some noise. If you're working up the building, make
Michelle Moore, good morning to you.
some noise. Make some noise. If you're working up the building, make
Gina Quarles, good morning.
Make some noise. If you're working up the building, make some noise. Make some noise. Everybody say work. Say work.
Jackie Davis Watkins, good morning to you.
Hit me one time. Say work. Come on. Say work.
Deacon Ron Morton, good morning.
If you're working on the building, make some noise. Make some noise. Make some noise. If you're working on the building, make some noise. Make some noise. Make some noise.
Minister Vonda Morton, good morning to you. Minister Judy Diamond, good morning.
Make some noise. Make some noise. If you're working on the building, make some noise. Make some noise. Listen, as soon as I get
We're going to keep it going just for a few more minutes, give people time to get logged on. Let's keep it going with Eric Cobbins and the ministry. What shall I render? Come on, get your praise on. All right, out there, it's Sow a Seed Tuesday. You want to be blessed, sow a seed to the kingdom. It's good ground. There's the link up on the screen. Hi, Hall, good morning to you. Christine Mayberry, good morning.
blessings. What shall I render unto God for all his blessings? What shall I render unto God for all his blessings? God has everything, everything belongs to him. God has everything, everything belongs to him. All I can render is my body and my soul.
Yeah, Callie, good morning, my friend.
All I can render is my body and my soul. All I can render is my body and my soul. All I can render is my body and my soul. God has everything, everything belongs to him. God has everything, everything belongs to him. I give you
Donna Sanders, good morning to you.
I give you my soul. I give you my mind, Lord, come and take control. I give you my heart, Lord, I give you my soul. I give you my mind, Lord, come and take control. I give you
Jerry Thomas, good morning.
I give you my soul. I give you my mind, Lord, come and take control. I give you my heart, Lord, I give you my soul. I give you my mind, Lord, come and take control.
Andrea Bledsoe, good morning, little sis. Deacon Melvin Porter Jr. Sandy Robinson, good morning.
Lord, I give you my everything. 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 My hands, my feet, my mind, my time, my hands, my feet, my mind, my time, my hands, my feet, my mind, my time, my hands, my feet, my mind, my time. Lord, I give you my everything.
All right, all right. There you have it, Eric Cobbins and the ministry. What shall I render? Pamela Stone, good morning to you. It's a terrific Tuesday morning. And once again, we're excited about getting this week kicked off. Brenda Lee, good morning to you. So excited about getting this week kicked off. I know it's going to be a great week. I know that some of you came on this morning anticipating, once again, that Pastor Grubbs would be with us. Let me pause for the calls before I address that issue. I want to pause for the calls. Y'all know what just happened. Lady Ann just checked in with us this morning. So let's greet Lady Ann. Good morning, Lady Ann Cobbins. Those of you that are still remaining anonymous and maybe joining us for the very, very first time. You might be wondering, who is Lady Ann Cobbins? Yes, that's my darling wife. That's my partner in ministry, my partner in life, the love of my life. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So glad that she's in my life, and we're definitely glad she's a part of Canaan Worship Center. Deacon Kenny Goodwin, good morning to you. All of you that I have not had an opportunity to greet this morning, let me say again, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Again, I was saying that normally we have Pastor Mike Grubbs on with us on Let's Talk Tuesdays. But again, his schedule has changed tremendously. He's still trying to get a handle on his scheduling. He still is in hopes of being with us again soon, not in the not so distant future. And we're hoping that he can once again join us and that we can pick back up where we left off in our discussions with Pastor Grubbs. It's always very productive discussions, and we just love having him as our co-host on Tuesday mornings. But until his schedule changes to where he can accommodate us again, you'll have just me. I hope that's okay with you all. Celeste Wesley, good morning to you. I know you all are okay with that, because if you weren't, you wouldn't meet me here each and every morning as you do. And some of you, let me say that you've been very, very consistent in joining us for Morning Mocha from the time we started. You know, we're coming up on a year. Next month, it will be a whole year that we've been conducting Morning Mocha. We've been streaming Morning Mocha for a whole year. Man, the time just flies past. They say when you're having fun. Well, I'm enjoying it. It's not always fun. It's a little bit of work for me, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I'm willing to put in the work to do what I can to add value to our viewers, our listeners. That's always our intent. I tell you all that all the time, and I hope that over the past year, that you've become committed to doing what you can to add value to others around you. It's such a blessing to be a blessing to other people. As a matter of fact, the late Pastor A.L. Johnson Sr., he used to always say, it's just nice to be nice. I think that's a good motto to live by. It's just nice to be nice. So if you haven't been very nice here lately, why don't you check yourself and be intentional about being nice to other people. Show other people some genuine love. I truly believe it won't cost you anything, but I tell you what, it sure will enhance your personal life. When you're loving other people, when you're showing love to other people, it has a way of making you feel a lot better about who you are as a person. And I'm telling you, that's just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful feeling. I guess that's one of the reasons why that God called me to serve people. And that's simply because I love people so much. And I love to see people happy. I love to see their lives improving. And I love to contribute in whatever way that I possibly can. Let me say this real quickly. We know that yesterday was observance of Martin Luther King's birthday. It was the national holiday. And I considered coming on just for a few minutes on yesterday, but I got busy and just didn't find the time to do it like I wanted to. But let me say to my African-American brothers and sisters, we celebrate the legacy of Dr. King, and we are so appreciative of the work that he did in the way of the civil rights movement, giving leadership to that. And we know that the work that he performed while he was here in the earth had a great impact, and it's yet impacting the lives of African-American people today. One of the things that was most prevalent during the civil rights movement that really made it what it was the spirit of unity that we as a people had. We had a spirit of unity wherein it was very rare that you saw African Americans turning on one another. I'm not by any means saying that it didn't occur from time to time, even during that time, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. And we talk about honoring the legacy of Dr. King. And I believe if we truly wanted to honor the legacy of Dr. King, we'd go back to really making an asserted effort and a concerted effort to pull together again, to work together again, to support one another as we really should, to be willing to lend a helping hand to one another. It's sad to say, but sometimes we do just the opposite. a lot of times we do just the opposite. We'll pull away from each other. We'll withhold from each other. We're not willing to help one another. We're not willing to be a blessing to one another because some of us are so insecure in ourselves, in who we are, in what we're trying to do, that we feel oh so threatened by anyone else who's trying to do anything of any great significance. You know, if I've got a business and you've got a business and our businesses may not have anything to do one with the other, you know, but there are people who are in that type of situation who won't lift a finger or say a mumbling word to help promote someone else's business, but yet and still they want their business promoted. That's really just it's kind of selfish. And even if someone is wanting to start a business similar to that of what you're running right now, there's enough people and enough clientele for all of us to do whatever it is we desire to do. And there's just enough to go around. But, you know, that spirit of separatism, that spirit, I call it that crawdad mentality, where we'll rather pull someone down rather than push them up. That's the thing that's been holding us back as a people. And it's so prevalent that people tend to not even acknowledge the fact that it does exist. You know, yeah, we are quick to come together when it comes to marches and protests and all that kind of thing. Thank you, Sister Rochelle. I'm glad you threw that up there. Let me throw that up on the screen. She said, right, I'm meeting with someone this week about starting a t-shirt business. Now, the reason why that statement, what she's sharing there is so significant is because of the fact Sister Rochelle and Deacon Will, they have a t-shirt business. They run their t-shirt business. It's been around for quite some time. And she could very easily say, well, I'm not meeting with that person because they're going to lay in on they're going to be competition and steal some of my business away from me. Well, that's not necessarily the case. That is just absolutely not necessarily the case. As a matter of fact, I believe that because Rochelle is choosing to meet with someone about starting a t-shirt business, she's literally sowing a seed. And how many of you know that when you sow seeds, you eventually come to reap harvest? I believe that just from this very statement that she made here, her decision to meet with someone else, their business is going to increase. One of the reasons why I believe it's going to increase, because there might be someone viewing right now who's been looking for someone to make some t-shirts for them. Well, you can contact the Parkers. You can contact the Parkers and Rochelle, if you choose to, if you want to throw up how people can contact you real quick, I'd throw that up on the screen just so they'll know. You know, you can contact Rochelle and Will Parker, and yeah, they'll serve you. You got to pay for your t-shirts, of course. You know, they're in business to make money. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the reason why most people go into business. But that right there within itself, there it is right there. Thank you, Rochelle. There's the information. If you're in need of t-shirts, there's the link. You can click on that link and fill out the whatever forms that they're asking you to fill out, or find the way that you can contact them directly. And I'm quite sure she'll be glad to talk with you, be it whether you're desiring to purchase t-shirts in bulk or whatever the case may be, or if you're one of those people that say, hey, you know, I've been looking for someone who can help me with starting t-shirt business. Excellent resource. Excellent resource. Thank you for sharing that, Rochelle. But you know, and honestly, I'm not just saying this for the sake of effect and attention. Personally, over my 29 years of pastoring, especially when I have become very entrenched in pastoring, there's another way you can contact Rochelle and Will Parker. Thank you again. As I begin to learn things concerning pastoralship, the acquisition of properties for ministry and things of that nature, the how to secure financing. Listen, I've been through it all. I've offered myself to pastors who were in that type of process to share with them whatever I could share with them concerning the development of ministry, how to develop a ministry of excellence. I believe I have that kind of knowledge, how to what to do and how to go about the process of property acquisition, for the sake of developing a property for a worship facility and all of that. I've gotten so much experience in those areas that I'll gladly share with pastors information concerning those things. But, it's kind of strange. I've had pastors tell me, I really need that. I want to talk to you about it. Never contact me. I give them my information, give them my telephone number and all of that. They never contact me. And some of which I've heard about them making grave mistakes in business transactions with regards to those things that I've just mentioned to you. And I'm wondering to myself, why didn't you call me? I could have saved you that headache. I had one pastor that would consult with me and ask me certain questions with regards to land acquisition or ministry development and developing a ministry of excellence. Rochelle, you're throwing up all kind of stuff. See, look, Unselfish. She's giving a shout out to David Blaze and Teresa Williams at Canaan's, who have t-shirt businesses as well. That's very unselfish. That's the way we need to pull together. That's the way we need to support one another. There's enough out there for everybody. But again, when you have that opportunity, when you have access to people who are willing to share, it's so important that you learn to take advantage of it. Go ahead and jump on it. It's rare. It's not going to come around all the time. Everybody's not going to be willing to do that. As a matter of fact, there are more people out here that will withhold information from you rather than sharing information with you. All right. So that's just a little food for thought. So I'm simply saying that as we commemorate and honor Dr. Martin Luther King and his legacy, let's keep those kind of things in mind. Let's keep in mind how needful it is, how important it is for us to remain in unity. I think we need to reestablish that spirit of unity, recreate that spirit of unity and of oneness and of supporting one another. And it'll spill over into everything. It'll spill over into the community. It will definitely spill over into ministry if we all hold these principles that Dr. King held with regards to the advancement of our people. If we hold these principles near and dear to our hearts and we act accordingly, it will be a blessing to us all corporately. I truly believe that. All right. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. I want to talk to you today about how life is a process. Once again, I think this is one of these topics or one of these issues that we seldom give consideration to, how life is a process. I truly believe that one of the downfalls of this modern day society is that we've become too accustomed to experiencing instant gratification. We want things and we want them now. We want things to happen for us, and we want them to happen for us right now. Now, how many of you can truly agree with that? I'll be the first to say that I'm that way at times. I want things. When I desire something, when I desire for things to happen, I want things as soon as possible, because delays can be so frustrating. My staff, they know, they kind of laugh at me because they know how I am, my staff and my team that works with me and around me. And when I talk about getting something done or needing something to happen, and when the question is asked of me, especially from someone who hasn't worked with me very much, when it's asked of me, well, when do you want this to happen? When do you want this done? Now, those that have been around me for quite some time, they know that my my answer, more often than not, there it is, my administrative assistant, she just put it up on the screen. There's the answer to the question when I'm asked that. Rochelle hit right behind her. So y'all know it's true. I hadn't said a word, but Rochelle and Sister Lachelle, they both work with me. They're on my team. They're on my staff. And that's when I want most things. Yesterday, and I say that because with me, certain things, I have such a sense of urgency that I just don't want the delays. And I really get frustrated if I'm promised something within a certain time frame and it doesn't happen. That bothers me. It irks me to no end. But one thing that life teaches you, life will teach you this, is that you don't always get what you want when you want it, nor do things always happen when you want them to. Now, I know if you lived any length of time, you've already learned that lesson. But because most people push back against this reality, most people prematurely give up on their life's pursuits because of the fact things are not occurring within their time frame. People prematurely give up on their life's pursuit. I've discovered that life, to a great degree, comes with accompanied, how do I want to say this? Much needed built-in preservation mechanisms. Let me put it like that. Now, I know that for the most part, we don't always view these protective mechanisms as such, but they exist and are needed nonetheless. Sometimes, what I mean by this built-in preservation mechanism, sometimes life situations have a way of saving us from ourselves. Sometimes we want certain things to happen for us when we're really not prepared for those things to happen for us. I know we think we are, we've convinced ourselves that we are, but the reality is some preparation for certain things take more time than we are willing to endure. That's just the reality of life. But because of these preservation mechanisms that are built into life itself, life has a way of slowing some things down, stopping the forward progress of certain situations, lest we find ourselves in potential danger with regards to destroying our own lives. And I'm not talking about necessarily destroying your life physically, but destroying the progress of your life, destroying whatever potential there is for you to move ahead, to advance, to achieve certain things. You know, I understand by human nature, and we've been conditioned this way over the past several decades. You know, we've been conditioned to believe that we ought to be able to get certain things, to make certain things happen at the snap of a finger. How many of you were really, really excited the first time you were introduced to a microwave oven? When you found out that you could heat up a whole plate of food in 60 seconds or less, man, that was the stuff back then. Y'all know I'm right about it. I mean, just think, prior to the microwave, you had to get the food out of the cold refrigerator. You had to get out a baking pan or frying pan or something, and you had to put that food in that pan, let it warm up. If it was in the oven, it took a while. If it was on top of the stove, you had to make sure that you were careful not to overcook it and burn it. But then that microwave showed up, and all you do is put it on the plate, slide the plate in the microwave oven, hit those buttons, doop, doop, doop. And when you hear the little bell, I think the first one was like a bell. Matter of fact, I believe the first experience with a microwave oven for me, it didn't even have buttons. It had a dial. How many of y'all remember that? It had the dial. You would turn the dial to the setting of how many minutes you wanted that microwave oven to cook your food or warm up your food, whatever the situation may be. And that dial would take back, and then when it get to zero, it would ding or ring or whatever. Y'all remember that. But we literally thought that was the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah. But, again, we've been programmed. We've been programmed to have instant access to things that we want. And thereby, we've been conditioned to believe that what we need in life at all times is to be able to experience instant gratification. Now, I'm convinced that it is imperative that one has a balanced and tempered outlook on or perspective on life. Now, I often advise people to live with the greatest of expectation. However, I've come to realize that even our greatest expectations must be tempered expectations. Our expectations must be tempered with possibility and reason. Now, some of you, because you're so spiritual, you'll say, hey, I don't agree with that. God can do anything. Yes, God can do anything, but God doesn't make it his business to just violate the laws of nature just because we want him to, or to make things more convenient for us. Sometimes we have untempered and unreasonable expectations. And you've got to know the difference. There is such a thing as over-expecting or unreasonable expectations. Now, I know this might be somewhat of an extreme example, but, I think you'll get the picture once I share this example. I cannot expect to take a handful of watermelon seeds, go into my backyard today, put them in the ground, cover them up with dirt, throw water on them, and then expect a harvest of watermelons by tomorrow morning. Now, that kind of thing only happens in Jack and the Beanstalk. That's untempered, unrealistic expectations. That's just unreasonable. And again, I warned you that the example may be a bit extreme, but it's not that far-fetched as it pertains to some of us and some of our expectations. And I'd like to say, or I want to advise you that having such expectations, unreasonable expectations, over expecting, things, expecting too much, if you will do you more harm than good. Well, now, Bishop, I got faith. I believe, I trust God. I have faith as well. But sometimes faith operates within the parameters of the law of reality, the laws of nature, if you will. Again, there are such things as unreasonable expectations. And one of the things that fall under this category is expectation that disregards the law that governs things developing over a designated period of time. Some things have to go through a process. There are times that we engage in certain things where there are unavoidable steps and stages that must be navigated through in order to reach a desired or designated end. You just can't help it. Listen, consider this. There is always a journey between a starting point and a desired destiny. In order to go from point A to point B, over the course of that journey, you're going to have to go through some things. And here's what's sad. What's sad is some people despise the journey because they fail to appreciate the potential reward that awaits them at their designated destination. If you can't appreciate and even anticipate what awaits you, then you're going to be nothing but frustrated along the journey. Now, this kind of example can easily be seen and understood when traveling with children. Those of you who've had the blessed privilege of traveling with children, you understand this. And if you haven't had that opportunity and you really want to understand it, load up your vehicle and take a long trip with a few children. Most all along the trip, the children will constantly ask two questions. Number one, are we there yet? and the other is, when are we going to get there? You know why they do that? Because they have absolutely no concept of how distance relates to time when traveling from one point to another. They simply do not understand that going from one place to another is a process. They don't know, and frankly, at their age, they don't care. Pastor Tyrone said, do that on a short trip. You're right. And I know he speaks authoritatively. Oh my goodness. He and Sister Maisha, they've got two small ones. And those two small ones are very energetic. And I know, see, what happens while they're traveling from point A to point B? Number one, they begin to get restless. They become easily bored. They become both irritable and irritating. Woo! A along the journey, they lose their joy for the journey that they initially started out with. That they start wishing that they could just get this journey thing over with. Tired. Tara Kazam, you's a brave soul. She said, drove 12 hours to Detroit with ours. Yikes. Yeah. They want to just get it over with. You know, and really they have the hard part, the easy part rather, because in many cases, they can just watch movies or pass out in their seat. You don't have to worry about the driving and all that other stuff that goes along with the journey. They're just along for the ride. They could enjoy the journey, but they become impatient with the process. Many adults are just like traveling children as it pertains to life's journey. Think about that. You have places you want to go. You have things you want to do. But you want to somehow ignore or outright bypass the unavoidable process. Say to yourself right now, that just ain't gonna happen. Go ahead. I'm serious. Say to yourself, that just ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And because you cannot ignore or bypass the process, your perspective on life changes. Your perspective, along with your disposition, changes. Just like children, you get restless. You become bored with life. You become both irritable and irritating. If you don't believe me, ask people within your close circles. They'll tell you. If they're willing to be totally honest with you. You lose the joy that you initially started with. And then you start wishing, I wish I could just get this thing over with. I don't want to have to go through all of this other stuff. Let's cut to the chase. Well, sometimes it's not easy or it's not possible to just cut to the chase. Rosemary Hardy just put in the comments, planes get you there faster. Yeah, that's true. It's all that stuff you have to do before getting on the plane. That's the part of the process. Don't get me started about flying. Man, flying can be one of the most tedious adventures that a person can engage in. And based on your airport experiences, you can be more tired after flying from point A to point B than you would have been if you had driven from point A to point B. Think about it. There have been times I've had to get up at 3:00 in the morning so I could be at the airport by 5:30, 6:00. Takes me almost an hour to get to the airport alone. This is all part of the process, all part of the journey. Then I have to park in remote parking. Then I have to wait for a shuttle bus to come pick me up or pick myself and Lady Ann up from the parking lot. Drive us to the terminal. Then you got to get in line and stand behind people while you get checked in. Yes, I pre-checked in, but I still got to check my bags. Well, that's the reason why I do carry on. And sometimes these people that do carry on that have these luggages that are large as trunks that you would sit at the to store things in, and then you're trying to fight to get things in the overhead, knowing that it won't fit. Okay. Uh, but listen, you got to go through security, and to some degree, you almost got to undress and redress just for going through security. Everything's got to be checked. Everything's got to be perfect. I'm cool with that because they're trying to make sure we're staying safe. But listen to the process. I'm up at 3:30 in the morning. I'm finally going through security at about 6 in the morning. I'm sitting there waiting at the gate for the to just load on to the plane, which doesn't happen until 7 in the morning. Don't let there be a delay for whatever reason. Got to wait some more. You know, all of this is occurring. You finally get on the plane. You got to wait till everything is cleared for takeoff. And don't let it be a busy travel day. I've sat on runways for more than an hour just waiting for the plane to take off. Think about that. Then when you finally take off, the flight might only be an hour and a half or 2 hours. But once you land, from the time you woke up to the time you landed, 7 hours then already passed. 8 hours has already passed. You say, well, I could have driven here in that period of time. You know, then when you get off the plane, you got to walk through the airport. And if you're traveling into somewhere like Atlanta Airport or Chicago Airport, those huge airports where you got to walk along this. And notice, y'all, have y'all ever noticed that when you're flying to Kansas City or coming out of Kansas City, whatever, you know, whenever you reach your destination, flying out of Kansas City or when you're going to come back, have y'all always noticed that the Kansas City gates are always at the furthest end of the airport? I mean, think about that. T.J. Hillman said, I'm exhausted listening to all of this. Yeah, it's a part of the process, though. And because you have a destiny or a destination in your view, you can't just throw up your hands and say, well, I'm done. I'm not going any further. You can't get to the airport in the next city and decide, well, forget it. I'm just not going to baggage claim. I'm done with this process. No. You have to walk from the far end of the airport. Finally, especially in Atlanta Airport, you finally get to where you can get on the train, the little tram that will take you to baggage claims. And you'll get to baggage claims after at least 4 stops, maybe 5 stops where people are getting on and off. Sometimes it seems like you're on the tram forever, trying to just get to baggage claim. You get to baggage claim, and you got to wait and wait and wait and wait. And for me, it seems like no matter when we travel, it almost seems like the luggage from Kansas City, and my luggage in particular, seems to always be the last luggage that come up on that little belt, that conveyor belt. You stand there, you wait. Then you get your luggage, and now it's time to go to the rental car hub. So you got to go get on another train. A monorail takes you over to rental cars. Get over to the rental car station. You're supposed to have your car reserved and waiting for you. And I'm a preferred customer. I'm supposed to be able to walk in and look up on the board and see my name and just walk to my vehicle, get in and go. No. Why you got to have hiccups with my reservations? Why do I have to stand there and go through this whole process with? Yeah, I mean, think about it. Again, I know y'all tired. You say you tired, not tired. That's funny. I love it. I love that t-shirt. You're tired. Yeah, because I be tired. Then once I finally get in my rental car and get out of the rental car lot and all of that, now I got to drive to the hotel, get to the hotel only to find out my room ain't ready. Well, when will it be ready? Well, hopefully it'll be ready within the next hour or two. Okay, y'all see how it can be? Life can be that way at times. But just because you hit little speed bumps along the way, that's not a reason for you to give up on the process. There's no reason for you to absolutely lose your patience and say, I'm done with it. Sometimes I'm okay with going through all that I just mentioned because I've got loved ones waiting on the other end that I'm really anxious to see. When I go see my daughter and my grandchildren, I'll endure that process because I'm looking more so at the destination, at the destiny, and what awaits me on the other end more than I am the process itself. So I'm willing to exercise a little more patience because I know that the process is not going to last forever, even though it seems like it's taking forever. You can't just ignore the process. Some people stop aspiring to be successful at anything because they've concluded that success takes too long and too much time to achieve. Listen, you got to understand. Here's the reality of life. Success does not occur over one night. Notice what I said there. It does not occur over one night, but it does occur over several nights. What do you mean? In the process of certain pursuits in life, it's going to take a whole lot of laying down and waking up. Laying down and waking up. Now, please understand that every time you lay down and wake up the next morning, you're that much closer to achieving success. But there are yet some stages along the way that you must go through in order to ultimately reach your goal. Some people want to start a business today and want to be multimillionaires tomorrow morning. It doesn't happen that way. Well, I believe it does. No, listen, please understand. Achievements are not instantaneous by no means. They are not. Achievement is the culmination of work that has been in progress over a period of time. Just because you are finally one day able to see the fruit of your labor, or maybe because just because the fruit of your labor appears in bulk one day or one morning, it doesn't mean that it happened overnight. There was work you had to put in. There was processes you had to go through. And in the process, the main element to going through the process is your ability to wait and to work through the process. And it's going to take time. It's going to take patience. Listen, anytime you set out to do anything of significance, the one thing you must be fully aware of, and that is the fact that whatever it is you're attempting to acquire or to achieve, whatever that is, there's going to be a process involved in doing so. Yeah. Most people don't like being told about the process. Is because of the potential pain, the potential problems that may be involved in the process, the potential hindrances or delays. And we despise those things. But if you endure those things, and if you maintain patience in the process, embrace the process, flow with the process, don't despise the process, then ultimately you will achieve what you desire to achieve. Yep. Celeste Wesley, you're right. Process is not always easy, but it is necessary. Very well said. Very well said. And so before you pack it in, consider the process. Raise your level of patience with the process. Embrace the process. You might even need to find a way to enjoy the process. I'm telling you, when you do, it will work out better for you. Well, that's all I have for today. That wraps it up for me. I hope you benefited from today's session. And my question for you today would be, what are you going to do with it? This information that I just shared with you. KC Fatman 2020 said, there's that word flow again. Yeah, you're right. There it is. Flow with God. It's part of the process. It really is. Flow with God, flow in God. It'll only serve to bless you. All right, God bless all of you. Take this information, use it to your benefit, and then don't forget to share it with someone else. God bless all of you that are sending your thanks, your seeds, your word of encouragement. Yolanda Goodwin, God bless you for being a blessing. I appreciate it. Don't take it for granted. But I greatly appreciate you appreciating what you're receiving on today. All of you that are sending your thanks, thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'm encouraged. Y'all make me ready to do this again tomorrow. How about that? All right. We look forward to you joining us this evening at 7 p.m. when Lady Ann and myself will be sharing a word from the Lord in our TNT Bible study. We're focusing on faith. We're focusing on faith. Remember, when I cast a vision a couple of weeks ago, that I told you that all of our focus is going to be on faith, family, fellowship, and finances the entire year. That's what we're going to focus all of our attention on, because those are the areas that we need more shoring up. We need that. We need that. We need that for ourselves as individuals. We need that in our family units. We need it in ministry. We certainly need it in our community. All right. God bless you. Until tomorrow morning, let me again say that my desire is that you have a blessed, wonderful, and prosperous day. God bless you.